Hello everyone, today is very exciting because we are making
Disney Churro,
because we are making
Disney Churro.
We are going to walk you through the recipe. Nothing I love more than a good, warm, crispy churro. It is time to get cooking. I'm Jacqui Saldana, and I've been creating simple and delicious recipes on my website for more than 10 years with my family. And now I'm inviting you into my kitchen to come cook along with me while I show you how to easily create weeknight dinners, decadent desserts, and everything tasty in between. I keep it real, and most importantly, I keep it simple. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss out on our weekly videos. And now, let's see what we're making today. Hello everyone, today is very exciting because we are making one of my favorite things ever, churros. But not just your ordinary churros. Do you want to tell them what we're making?
We're making Disneyland churros!
We are making Disneyland churros. Last year, Disney released their churro recipe, and I'm going to walk you through the recipe today. It is so easy and delicious. But I don't know, do you think we're ready?
No.
What do we need to make Disneyland churros at home?
Disneyland clothes!
Disneyland clothes! Woo! Yes, now we are officially ready. We've got our ears on and our Disney shirts on. Mila's rocking a Toy Story top. We are officially ready to make Disneyland churros. We've got all our ingredients laid out. Look there's not that many ingredients that we need to make Disneyland churros, and we're gonna get started on the batter right now over on the stove. On medium heat, we've got our saucepan here, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna melt 8 tablespoons of butter. And you know I love to use unsalted butter so we can control the salt content. And we also have 1 cup of water. Boop. And I'm gonna do a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. See, and that's why we like to use unsalted butter, because if you're adding salt to the recipe and your butter is salted, it could definitely end up being too salty. And what we need is a 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. And you know the cinnamon is gonna warm up the dough and make it nice and cinnamony. That's a word I used in my cinnamon roll recipe video. And I don't know if it's an actual word or not, but I definitely like it. So we're just gonna stand here and kind of keep stirring it, and we're melting it all down, and we're gonna bring it up to a boil. Making this dough happens all on the stove, so you never want to just like put the ingredients in the pan and walk away. You kind of have to baby this dough every step of the way. The steps and the ingredients are very simple. You just want to make sure you follow each step and just kind of always keep your eye on it. All right, so we have come to a boil. I'm gonna lower the heat now to low. And I'm going to slowly add in our flour here and mix it. And I'm gonna continue to do this slowly. Yeah. Slowly adding our flour and mixing it in between until a dough ball forms. This is actually the same kind of dough you would use to make cream puffs or eclairs. It's a very easy, sorry, my daughter, everyone's excited over here. It's a very easy dough to make. It just has, you know. All right. Yeah. Okay. Everyone is super excited. All right, so the trick here is once you add your flour, you want to keep stirring pretty vigorously until you don't see any more flour anywhere. Basically what you're doing here is just kind of cooking down and out that flour taste, and what you're left with is a nice dough ball. And this actually looks perfection. So you know it's ready to move on when it comes into a nice dough ball and it's pulling away from the sides. I mean, look at this cute little dough ball. It's perfect. So at this point right now, we're gonna take it off the heat. I'm gonna remove it off the heat. The reason why we turn off the heat and let the dough ball cool down is because the next step we're adding eggs. And if we were to add the eggs in right now, what would happen is the eggs would scramble and it would just make a giant mess. So this step is very important, to turn off the heat. I like to even take the pan off the heat and let it cool down for about 7 to 10 minutes. I've got my trusty Mickey trivet here that I'm just gonna put to the side of my stove here. I'm gonna let our dough cool down and I'm gonna wait 10 minutes. Okay, so we've got our dough hanging out, cooling down before we add the eggs. And now would be the perfect time to mix together your cinnamon and sugar coating. And this is what we're gonna use to toss our churros in after they are done frying. So we've got our bowl of sugar here. It's about 1/2 cup of sugar, and we've got a 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. So Mila, go ahead and add in our cinnamon. Awesome. Okay. All right, and because we're a Disney fanatic house, I have quite the collection of Disney spatulas going. We've got the 2 mice from Cinderella, Gus, Gus, and Jack, and then the OG Mickey himself. We've got the little alien guy from Toy Story. This one's my favorite, I think. And then Forky, of course, from Toy Story. So which one do you want to use to stir up our cinnamon and sugar?
I want the alien.
The alien. So she's gonna mix up our cinnamon and sugar, and then we're gonna set it aside. Once our churros are done frying, we're gonna let them hang out on a paper towel for a little bit, and then we're gonna dunk them in this cinnamon and sugar. That's what gives churros that iconic taste, right? It's like fried dough coated in cinnamon and sugar. I can taste it already in my mouth. I absolutely love churros. Actually, when Mila was like, how old were you? Like 2, maybe 3? I took Mila to Disneyland, just the 2 of us, like I usually did back in the day. And Disneyland was doing this like churro challenge where you had to eat like, I don't know, maybe it was like 6 or 8 different churros. They had them all over at the different churro carts, and they were all different flavors. And I did it. I completed the churro challenge in one day, and I was pretty proud of myself. It was one of the best days ever. One of the reasons why we are so excited about making these Disneyland churros at home is because we are celebrating the fact that Disneyland is finally opening up for the first time after being closed for a year, more than a year. One of the things I did while the parks were closed was collect Disney patches, and I finally completed my project. I had all my Disney patches sewn onto an oversized jean jacket, and I absolutely love it. I can't wait to wear it at the parks. Every patch on this jacket has a little story behind it, whether it's one of my favorite movies. I've got Lightning McQueen here for my son Ryan, and then I love this customized, it looks like one of the cast members' name tags, but it has my son's name on it. And then of course I have Marie because that's Mila's favorite.
Yeah, and another Marie.
And another Marie. I shared my Disney jacket on my website, where I shared every shop that I bought my Disney patches from. I'll leave the link to that post in the description below, just in case you want to check it out and get Disney patches of your own. I cannot wait to finally walk into the parks and strut down Main Street wearing my jacket. Are you so excited?
Yeah!
Ah, I'm so excited. Oh, 10-minute timer. It's time to start our churros up again. All right, so our dough has cooled, and I'm gonna keep my pot here on my silicone trivet here while I mix in these eggs. We're gonna mix in 1 egg at a time, and this is where the arm workout happens. So you've got one hand on the pot, and you're just gonna pretty vigorously stir in 1 egg at a time. All right, that looks good. Now we're gonna add in our 2nd egg. Whew, I'm like already out of breath. Like I said, there are a handful of steps to making churros at home, but they're all pretty simple. You just have to be patient and have a little bit of arm strength. The reason why you wouldn't use a mixer for this stage is because you don't want to over mix the dough. And Yeah, this ends up giving it that perfect consistency. It looks awesome. All right, ready for our third and final egg. It looks perfect. Look at that. You can even see some of the specks of the cinnamon. All right, so this is actually ready for the piping bag. We're gonna add this into a piping bag fitted with a star tip, and I'll show you what that looks like in just a second. I've got a kind of like a deep skillet here, and this is what we're gonna use to fry our churros. So I'm gonna add in 1.5 cups of oil. You can use vegetable oil, canola oil. Those are probably the 2 oils that I would choose. So that's a cup, and we're gonna do a half more. And then we're gonna put it on the stove. So I've got my little thermometer here that I like to use when I'm frying up some stuff. If you don't have one of these, I'll show you how to test your oil when it's ready. So you know when it's ready, but because I have one, I'm gonna use one. And what we're gonna do here is we're just gonna put it in the pan. And it's important that you don't put the tip all the way at the bottom of the pan. You want it to just rest right on top of the oil. And we're gonna keep an eye on it. And once it reaches 350 degrees, we'll know it's ready. I've got my churro dough ready. It looks glossy and beautiful and delicious. It even looks yummy in this like raw dough stage. I absolutely love it. Look at that. Okay, so the easiest way to make that iconic churro shape that you see at the parks is with a star tip. This is what that is. It's like a piping tip. You can find it at the craft store or even in some baking aisles at the grocery store, and then a piping bag. And so you just slip this star tip into the piping bag and you push it all the way down. And then I'm gonna use some scissors. There we go. Cut, and then that way your star tip pokes right through the end of the bag. If you don't have a star tip or a piping bag, don't worry. You can use your standard zip top bag, and you would just, let me show you if I have one. I don't have a large one, but this is the only zip top bag I have. But if you would use a larger one, obviously, and you would put your dough into the zip top bag, and then you would just use scissors. You would move all the dough into one corner of the bag, and you would use scissors to cut the end of your zip top bag. And then you could just pipe in your churros like you'll see in a second. The only difference is that it's not gonna have those like ridges that a regular churro would have, but who cares, because it'll still taste delicious. Because I have piping tips and piping bags here at my house, we're gonna do it this way. If you're interested in these items, I'll leave the link in the description below. The easiest way to put the dough into the piping bag is to grip it with your hand and then fold the piping bag over your hand like this. You got your little hole here. And then I'm just going to plop in my churro dough. And this bag is a little small, so we probably will have to do this in a couple batches. But the reason why I have it folded over my hand here is because I can use my hand that's covered with the piping bag to kind of work the dough off of the spoon here. And then just give it a little press. I can fit a little bit more in here. Once you have your churro dough in your piping bag or your zip top bag, you're gonna push it down, so you don't have any air pockets here. You're gonna push it down until it comes out of the star tip, just like that. In case you don't have a thermometer to measure the temperature of the oil, one way you can find out if your oil is ready to fry is you want to just put in a little bit of dough here into your pan. And if it starts to bubble up right away and float to the top just like it did, then you know your oil is ready to rock and roll. If you put in your little bit of dough and it sinks to the bottom and nothing happens, then your oil is not hot enough. But this is a perfect indicator letting you know that our oil is ready to fry. So here we go. I've got my churro dough here, and I'm just going to, just like I did before, I'm going to squeeze out about 3 inches or so and cut it, and it's gonna fall into the oil. Now look, these churros aren't going to be exactly long and thin like you would find at the Disney parks, but the flavor is there, okay? I'm gonna use my tongs so they don't stick together. And I'm gonna fry probably 3, maybe 4. No, I'm probably gonna fry 3 at a time. The reason why is A, you don't wanna overcrowd your oil. All right, so we are just frying our churros here. And I've got 3 churros in the oil right now. It's very important that when you're frying your churros, you don't want to overcrowd your pan, mostly because you don't want them sticking to each other. And if you add too many churros into the pan while you're frying, it's going to actually drop your oil temperature, which isn't good. You want your oil temperature to stay pretty consistent while you're frying. If you notice that your churros are turning brown really, really fast, that's an indicator that your oil is way too hot. So you might have to kind of readjust your stove and play around with your oil temperature. It's very important that you cook them slow and low and they turn a golden crisp brown slowly. That way you're ensuring that the inside gets cooked along with the outside. So you're left with a nice crisp outing and a fluffy interior. So you want to fry them about, I would say 3 minutes on each side, give or take. I'll show you here. This is what you're after, a nice golden brown. And if I snap this in half, you can see the inside is nice and fluffy and soft and the outside is crisp. So that is what you're after. So these puppies are ready to come out of their oil bath. I'm just gonna pick them up with my tongs and just place them on this paper towel to drain off the excess oil. I like just giving them a little shake before I put them on the paper towel here. And it's important also to just kind of let them cool and hang out for a sec before you dunk them in the cinnamon and sugar. Yeah, look how great these look so far. Yum! All right, everyone, we have finished frying up our churros. Look how perfect they turned out. I absolutely love it. So we actually have our cinnamon and sugar that Mila so perfectly mixed together. But because our churros are a little larger, we're gonna use this shallow bowl here to dunk them in. You wanna do the first dunk? Yeah. She has her eye on her churro she wants. So you're gonna pop it in the cinnamon and sugar. Ooh. Just kind of zhuzh it around.
I will try.
Are you ready? Okay, it's perfect for you. Give it a little tap. Oh my gosh. What do you think? Does it taste so yummy?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, okay, so I cannot wait to get one of these in my mouth. Look at this. They're perfectly dusted with cinnamon and sugar. Oh my gosh. If I close my eyes, I'm walking down Main Street. I can see the castle at the end of the street. Pretty soon we'll be able to walk down Main Street for reals with a real hot churro in our hands. But until then, this recipe is perfect. It is so simple to follow the steps and put them together at home. You can enjoy Disneyland churros in the comfort of your own home. Heck yeah. This is a large plate of churros, but I'm not worried because I can handle it. Are you excited?
Yeah.
I'm so excited. All right. This recipe is straight from the Disney Parks blog. I will leave the link in the description below if you want to check it out. There's also a lot of other Disneyland official recipes on there. Make some churros, and if you're headed to the parks at the end of this month, the parks open finally after being closed for a year, more than a year. They open on April 30th. I know that we're gonna be there. I'm so excited. If you're going, let me know down below in the comments. I can't wait to see some of you at the parks IRL, in real life. Can you believe it? You can? Oh my gosh. All right. Until then, I will see you in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. It really helps us out a lot, and like this video. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Bye. Want another one? Yeah.